Well, the date is the 21st of June 2021. It's the longest day, and I'm just standing under an umbrella here just to indicate just how wet it is. It's the Gregory Allotment tour, and what you're looking at is a new acquisition. Okay, this is our little bit of cover for the plants, and that seems to be working. We have a quick look inside there. What we've got are runner beans, flowering runner beans, and also inside there we've got courgettes, which are doing very well. There's like a little microclimate inside there, so that's working really very well. They only cost 41 quid, and I wanted to buy another one, and they've completely sold out. But the reason why I was so keen to show the rain was because this has been a very poor year so far. People have been clinically depressed, wandering about, wondering why their seeds don't come up, and those that do get eaten by unseen forces. But nevertheless, we seem to be surviving. The potatoes that you see here, there's a few tomatoes in the ground just in front of us, but the potatoes that you see immediately near us weren't planted by us this year. They're rogue potatoes. They've just sprung up from previously sown potatoes. But these are the ones that we did plant, and they're looking like they might be all right. At the far end we've got first earlies, and then we've got some second earlies and some main crops. So that's looking kind of okay, but they're nowhere near as good as they were last year. Maybe starting to flower. This is artichoke. It's Jerusalem artichoke, and we didn't plant this. It's a weed here, but we've managed to restrict it just to this corner. Oh, there's a wet gardener. Strawberries. We have strawberries on a bed of straw. Now, winter finished about 3 weeks ago, and there was such a bout of rain that all of my time has been spent. Every time I come up here I have to bring up the lawnmower and the strimmer, and still it's not enough. This rain's going to make matters worse again. We planted French beans in this wigwam, and all of them failed to deliver. Either they didn't come up, or if they did come up, they were rapidly eaten. And now there's some runner beans in there, and they look as if they're being eaten as well. Another rogue potato. And another rogue potato in this raised bed. But what we've got here is a vine. And the vine is a new addition, and it's actually producing little runners and offshoots. I think that's going to do well. I think when they get going, they really get going. This is a little bit of rhubarb, which has grown from a small cutting, but this is the ancestral rhubarb. It was actually grown on the allotment that my grandfather farmed in the 1920s up by the Nelson, and it's passed through a number of family gardens and has appeared on the allotment here, and it's thriving, as it will do. It's the ancestral rhubarb. Tomatoes and sweet corn. Looks like more artichoke, but it's peas. Got a small number of peas. Like all plants, it's failed to produce what we hoped it would. Right, we've got some asparagus just here, and some sage. A little bit of kale. A little bit of kale in there hiding. Right, now this looks an absolute mess, but of course this is the wild area. We've deliberately left an area to go wild, and it, in a sense, it's helping to protect the orchard. And you can see that the apples we are going to have a crop of apples this year on that tiny tree. Oh, that is a crop of strawberries.
You won't go hungry this winter.
Not this winter. This is a plum tree, and it was going to produce around a dozen plums, but a deer got in and casually swiped at it, but he left one for us, and you can just see it nestling in there. One plum. Raspberries, not very many of them, but they are growing. I mean, I know most people know that when raspberries go in, it's difficult to get rid of them. They too grow like weeds, and I hope that these will in coming years. And this rhubarb never used to do anything, but it's given us a healthy crop this year. I mean, this has been heavily cropped, and there's still loads more of it to come. It's the compost silo number 2 and the compost silo number 1. Well, just looking at wet cardboard there. And gooseberries. And I think there's going to be a huge crop this year. But what's kept me off the land has been the building of this magnificent shed. And if I just take you briefly inside, we'll see that all our garden supplies and a shelf which will be our potting shed and a control tower for the allotment. And that's it for June.